Welcome to In Artist Spotlight, Sarah Day. It's so nice to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. It's nice to be here.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to our conversation. So feel free to laugh, cry, get angry, or however your emotions guide you.
I will most definitely do that.
Tell the audience a little bit about you.
Well, I'm a Grammy nominated singer from Toronto, Canada, based here in LA. And I actually come from a dance background. My first passion and career was dance. I started dancing when I was 3, came up with
Hmm.
my dad, singing, playing guitar. And he sang with me since I was a kid. And then eventually I ended up singing with him. And I basically had a whole dance career first in Toronto, Canada. Eventually going to musical theater college and dancing with Doodat, one of the top hip hop dance companies, with Luther Brown, who's now doing just did 22 Coachella.
Hmm.
Has also done all the biggest awards, Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake, all the above. Super proud, do that for life. And from there, I went to musical theater college, and they encouraged me to sing and to focus on my voice, and then that I could get major lead roles and parts. Um, you know, as a singer who dances and acts as
Yes.
a triple threat. And I pretty much took my professors, they were the biggest casting directors in Canada. So I took their professional opinion and I started going out there and just booking gigs. And it kind of took off from there. And now I've, toured internationally and I'm based here in LA. And I mean, the story goes on. It depends how long you want me to talk.
Sure. I just love that your robust background and having that upbringing. So I think it's interesting that you started out with dance first, and then your voice was found or discovered underneath that talent, right? And then your voice became your forefront. Is that
Yeah, I
is that
really
a
do
good
kind of
good
have like a
assessment?
J-Lo story, similar because, she did the whole, TV show and dance thing
You're right, Fly
first,
Guy.
and then, you know, and then basically went on to the acting and singing, and so it's kind of cool. Like
Hmm.
I do have a very kind of, you know, J-Lo kind of story,
Similar story.
similar
Yeah.
story. Yeah, it's kind of
That's
cool. So I'm Lady Day on the block.
right. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
So I guess in focusing on your music part on this question is, um, what is your process when you write music? Is it life experiences or are you inspired by music first?
Oh, wow. I mean, it really is a collaboration of all of that because
Hmm.
I feel like each song, at a different time, a different moment. Sometimes I'm just inspired by, I'll get a track from different producers
Hmm.
and I might just, get inspired and actually sit down to write something on a track that's either created for me or just a raw track.
Hmm.
Sometimes just say, yeah, and then I'll just literally hear a melody and sing into my phone and start creating. Other times, like right now, for instance, I'm working with um, it's been just an honor to work with him, and I really didn't
Hmm.
actually ever think I would work with him since I was young. I had his cassettes, and that takes me back, CDs,
Right.
cassette tapes, and all that
Right.
kind of stuff. I was pretty young, but at the same time, the legends I've been so grateful to like work with now here in LA. I've actually sit down and create from scratch.
Hmm.
Either they've created Chucky, the new single we just did, that's coming. He actually created a track and a song musically, um, laid out as, and he was, you right, right? And so he was just like, "Go for it," and he played the and I just vibed on it, and then we, interacted and just kinda came about very organically, and thankfully, he loved everything that I came up with, which was amazing, so I just went with
Nice.
it. Very easy to work with him, and just such an honor, and then another, songwriter, producer I'm working with, Will, written a number of songs together, and we sit down with a guitar and, just vibe
Just kinda
and
vibe it out,
think
right?
about, yeah, what topic would I wanna write about? He's really great with artists, working with artists too, so he's also a
Mhm.
song singer himself. So I always like to work with people who sing because it always makes it more melodic and, easier as a singer. They can really relate to
Right.
singing, and what my voice will do or sound, how it will sound, or even the keys that we choose are
Mhm.
really for my tone.
Right.
So it's such a variety of different ways that I write, but it's all creative. Sometimes I've got a lot of poems. I've got a lot of a journal that I go through sometimes just for ideas, and then I'm just like,
Mhm.
whoa, this is a song. I might pick it up a year later, and then it's like, whoa, this is actually like great idea for a song. And then I'll take the lyrics, and it becomes, I find the melody to it. So
Mhm.
it's
That's
kind of,
awesome.
I love the creative process and how different it is, and collaborating with different people
Mhm.
also makes it a whole other new experience.
Right, because everybody's different, and therefore it bring out,
Oh, yeah,
differences in you, and
exactly.
that's the charm of collaborating.
Oh, yeah. And I was literally driving to Chucky's for the studio, and I was just like, "Lord, please
Mhm.
bring out the best in me," like, you never know what's gonna happen, like, how they work or how you're gonna work with them and how the
Mhm.
vibe's gonna be, what they're gonna expect of you or not? So, it was really kinda
Mhm.
cool because he was just, "Go for it," like, vibe, and then he set me up, in course of course, incredibly with the track, was so beautiful, and just all the parts were, it wasn't finished, but it was a great basis to start.
Sure.
And it really, and that's the thing, great producers, they set it up so it's like you can almost hear the song, or like, it just kind of, it's easy to find melody on it.
Right. Give you that lead in.
Yeah, it's just because it's so beautifully arranged, that
Mhm.
it just comes to life, and then especially when you're working with incredible musicians at that caliber, that's the dream, that's the daydream. So,
Right.
I mean, I'm living my dream now, working with some of the best. Yeah, so, and I'm
That's
excited
awesome.
to do more, so much more with so many more, talented cats, male and female, so
Absolutely. And, that experience that you just explained, really, I like to put visuals to scenarios, right? And it's kind of like double dutch.
yes.
If you turn in a double dutch rope and the person is waiting to kind of to get the timing to jump in to, so that they
Oh,
don't
yeah,
trip over the rope and stop it. And then once they're in, they're spinning around, doing their acrobats or tricks or what have you. And I look at
yeah,
music the same way. If you have um, that that click together and that coordination together, then once
yeah,
you're in the rope, then all the magic happens.
yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I know well. I've been an athlete my whole life too, and I used to skip. I used to jump rope too,
Right?
and I used to be in a break dancing crew back in the day,
Oh,
a
yeah.
stepping crew. I did it all in the dance world. So is the arts really do complement each other and kind of blend, and the
Absolutely.
experiences from you know like, even I played basketball, and I always tell the young people. And just even thinking about school, like, how they're trying to take sports and arts out of schools and stuff, and it's like, what? Like, that is the most important of school, because we learn to interact, to the teamwork,
That's
the
right.
discipline, the work ethic, and even the competitiveness in a sense. Um, Even though I don't find myself, I'm not a competitive uh, person or artist. I never have been, but Um, but you want to be the best. You want to be encouraged by
Right.
others, and you want to see other greats. So in that way, it's like, okay, if someone's better technically than you, that's going to encourage you. You want to, push to get better, to like be where they're at or exceed where they are. So it's always great to
Yes.
be
I mean,
around encouragement.
yeah, it's like Michael Jordan,
My
when he was
favorite.
playing and, yeah, when they were winning all the championships back to back. And um, a lot of players, when they played against him, they elevated their game because of his game. It was like a forced momentum, and when we do get better, when people around us are better, and that's how we grow, you
Yep,
know, no matter
exactly.
what it is.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I like that. I
Yep.
like that.
They always say that it's
Who
so.
are your top
Oh, sorry. I was going to say they
Yes.
always say it's so important to be surrounded by, you know, greats and people that lift you up and inspire you and, you know, encourage you and that are better than you, in a sense.
Yes, to get you to that next level.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. So who are your top 3 artists that influenced you the most? And I say top 3 because I know there's plenty, right? And this can go on and on. Um, but I have an idea. I'll let you say it, but when I listen to your singing style, when I listen to your voice, and when I listen to some of the music that's combined with your excuse me, that's combined with your voice, um, I'll say one that I hear for sure, and I hear the emotions, the group, the emotions, the lead singer. I can't think of her name, but that's the vibe that I get when I hear your music. Um, and I'll just put that one out there, but you give me three. Yeah, but I was just telling you what I hear.
You mean Brenda Vaughn?
Yes.
Wow. Because that's amazing that you an incredible compliment and a really crazy story. But I was in singing over in Singapore. I toured overseas for many years,
Hmm.
and one of the bands that backed me was with Michael Stanton, who played with Marvin Gaye and Aretha and a whole bunch of incredible artists, and then Christy Smith to LA. They said, "When we're done with you, no one's gonna mess with you, girl. We're gonna set you up for LA." And it was such an honor to have them back me. And then I featured in Hollywood, and who comes up to me but Wayne Vaughn, who wrote "Let's Groove Tonight"
Hmm.
and worked with all with Earth and Fire, and whose wife is the Emotions, Brenda Vaughn. So I actually go to their barbecues and I'm like tight with them, like they're like family. And
Hmm.
he's like, "Girl, what?" He said, "Where'd you come from? You got so much soul, girl." And basically, he was brothers with Michael Stanton and Christy Smith, who I played
Hmm.
with in Singapore. So he basically taken me under his wing and been like, "What,
How about that?
now?" And so that's a huge honor. And this summer, just past, I was at their barbecue singing, "You've got the best of my love. Whoa, whoa. You
All
got the
right.
best of my love." I was so floored because it was so organic and naturally happened.
Hmm.
And her daughters are now part of the Emotions. Wonderful singers, great women. I love them all. They're just such a beautiful family. I'm so grateful. So yes, definitely. Oh my goodness, I came up listening to my dad had such an incredible Motown collection, record
Hmm.
collection that Stevie Wonder, the Bee Gees, um, Aretha. You know, I also love Evelyn Champagne King. Who I got to meet here, and
Hmm.
actually my drummer plays for her here often for her concerts. Um, but I also Whitney Houston was huge. I
Hmm.
played Whitney in and out, sit on my bed with my feet on the wall and be singing her album back to back. That was before I even thought of singing. I was just I was always singing, but doing a career in singing. So I would definitely say um, Whitney, and then I did, of course, later on, Erica Badu,
Mhm.
when she had that whole that beautiful. I loved, um, Badu. I also I think it's so hard to do 3. I'm a
Right.
huge Luther Vandross fan. I love male vocals, so I listen to a lot of male vocals, you know, Stevie and Luther, Prince, huge. So
Oh,
Michael
yes.
Jackson, it's really Michael Jackson, Prince, and Whitney.
Mhm.
I would say if I did 3,
Okay.
because that's who I had on my wall in my room, posters, and
Mhm.
I used to do dance routines to both Michael and Prince in my living room with my girl, and then Whitney just, vocally amazing. Mariah too, Mariah amazing. But um yeah, Whitney, Michael, and Stevie and Prince.
That's awesome. Boy, I tell you,
So
your background, is just so solid. And you've been on the music scene for a minute, right?
yes. Yeah.
And so would you like to kinda describe what that minute is? Like, what's the time frame from when you set out to tour in Asia to
Yeah.
today? What is that?
So wow, I mean, it's pretty amazing how it actually happened organically. Like I actually went through um the whole beginning of my life was with my mother who had struggles with alcoholism and eventually cancer, diabetes, all kind. So my first part of my life, it feels like another person or another lifetime ago. But when she basically was ready to pass, she prepared me in a way to expect or believe. And she said, "When I go, just be the star you are. Go travel."
Mhm.
And so as soon as she passed, like months later, I got to go to Malaysia for a tour for 3 months to feature. And I had no idea where Malaysia. I didn't know what it was like. But when I found out there was jungle and monkeys, and it was
Right?
tropical paradise, pretty much, I was down. And I packed my stuff and I went. And 3 months turned into 5 years through 5 countries: Singapore,
Wow.
Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Hong Kong. I ended up, sorry, my kitty is like going a little nutty.
That's alright.
It's like whenever I sing and I have him around, I have either I'm singing or I'm doing whatever. It's like he knows what's going on and he just starts going crazy. I don't know, and meowing and making
Sure, he
or
wants
when
the
I sing.
attention.
Yeah. So I ended up, yeah, all those countries organically happening, getting, festivals, opportunities to feature, live to air and on the screens of the television, um, the airport, you know, the malls, the banks. They had their own TV network. Why
Mhm.
that basically got me to open a jazz and blues club, and then from there it was like festivals, clubs, jazz and soul lounges, doing my originals mixed with covers. I just produced every kind of show that I could make money in different genres, like different, with the house music DJs, because I came
Mhm.
up in Toronto, which is super eclectic from the house music scene to like the live R&B soul scene. So I would, produce all the above shows. And it took me all over the world, well, Southeast Asia so far. And eventually I was like, okay, missing my family, I'm far from home, and I desired to work with and grow as a songwriter, grow as an artist. So I
Mhm.
basically got my chops while I was overseas. I really, built my vocals, um, got to another level, and then I kind of felt like I was there and I needed more. Like I was like, okay, I want to either move to New York, closer to home. And then one of my friends lived in LA, so he was like, "You got to come to LA and check it out." And he was from Toronto, incredible musician, Mr. Ian Martin, who I also wanted to work with, and I ended up coming to check it out, and now I've been on my 3rd visa, which is the hardest visa to get as an extraordinary singer-songwriter,
Mhm.
and I've had major letters from Grammy producers saying I'm extraordinary, including Narendra Michael Walden, um, Wayne Vaughn, Kevin
Mhm.
Dorsey, who worked with Michael Jackson and backed
Mhm.
Michael Jackson, Fabian Cook, who was Damian Marley's musical director for 10 years and worked with everybody, Beyonce, and all these just incredible, producers that have watched me do my thing and grind over the years. And I built relationships with, and
Yes.
obviously gained their respect, thank God. That when it came to the time that I needed my visa, they all, without a question, including Kevin Flournoy, who I've done some incredible projects with. He played
Mhm.
for Franklin, Shaka Khan, currently plays with the Pointer Sisters. I've been so blessed to work with them and do some great, studio sessions in like Westlake, where Michael Jackson did Thriller.
Mhm.
Working with Kevin Dorsey, who worked with Michael Jackson on the Thriller albums, on all the albums. I
How
mean, it's
cool is
just
that?
been, yeah. I mean, to be in the Westlake where
Where
they
it all
have
went down, yeah.
yeah, and they still have the sound recordings in the wall. They have the sessions still in that building. It's crazy. I got to do the tour and everything too before. But
Mhm.
yeah, and now doing a live EP with my band, my Daydream team, I call them, with Stacy Lamont, who also sponsored me for a visa. And he's, major Grammy producer, work with Layla Hathaway, has a Grammy with Layla on her album,
Mhm.
and also plays for the Jacksons, plays drums for the Jacksons. And he's now MDing my new live EP, which I'm going to sell at my shows and basically put on my website at
Mhm.
sarahday.com,
Mhm.
and also present it for music festivals around the world to feature because it shows what I do live. It's kind of a
Right.
collaboration of the songs on my website. But since I've been playing in you know, 9 years with my band, um, these songs have become, you know, different babies in a way. They just
Sure.
grow and live. It's just, and I work with are just so incredibly talented, and I love them own vibe to it. So we've played for so many years together. We just, you know, blend, and so that project's going to be really cool too because it's just, me and my boys.
Yes. And when is that going to
Well,
flourish?
it's been a long time coming because I've been on this journey with the visas, and I mean, in America, it's really everything's super expensive in LA, and the
Mhm.
visas are thousands of dollars too. So it's almost done. I'm just doing backgrounds right now and some horns left, and it's almost there. And then we got to just mix and master. So it's coming soon. I'm praying within the next few months max.
Nice.
You know, yeah.
Nice.
And then I have a new single that I'm planning to release in over in Europe
Mhm.
first, which is called All
Okay.
Right, and that's the latest that's coming up, followed by the Chucky Booker project. I have one single with him, but we're gonna do 3 or 4 more. So I'm focused on getting those other ones done and releasing this stuff first, and then when the
Mhm.
timing's right, you know, Stevie Wonder's new album, Lionel Richie's new album, and his own new album with University, the band from Janet Jackson tour, Rhythm
Mhm.
Nation, which is his band.
Wow.
So it's just all God is lining things up, and I'm just sitting back in amazement and praying for the right people to continue to surround me and for me to
Mhm.
make right decisions and to just keep working hard and focused on my goals.
Yes. Wow. Having um, I guess one can say the relationships that you have or the arsenal that you have, right? And, because those relationships warranted you the opportunity to have the arsenal that you have. And I just love that story.
I'm so blessed and I'm just amazed. And, you know, I'm also, it's become a mission of mine ever since the whole pandemic to really support health and especially health in Black men because, you know, unfortunately through this whole experience, I've seen so many incredible musicians, especially young Black men
Mhm.
leave us because of diet, nutrition, and health. And so I actually, because I have been gratefully blessed by, if you notice, everyone that I named is a Black African American,
Mhm.
incredibly talented, humble, hardworking man. And I'm, inspired to share their stories about how there's so many great Black men. And I get to see what we see on TV and, just the state of America and the history. So, as a Canadian woman
Mhm.
here and as an artist, I feel so blessed and humbled by the professionalism these men have shown and how they stood up and had my back, you know,
Mhm.
and been such gentlemen. And so I'm giving back in by sharing um, and educating them about health as well.
Mhm.
I referred Chucky Booker. I use this product. It's all fruits and vegetables, all natural. It's called Juice Plus, and I changed my spirit, my mind, just by adding it to my diet every day. And
Mhm.
so I'm just trying to encourage and to others if that's the only thing that I could do. I feel like, because we are what we eat, and that's a blessing to share because I don't want to lose any more of these incredible men at such an early age.
Right. Definitely to health were something that's avoidable for sure.
Avoidable. Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
What's one thing you wish you would have known before you began your career that could have helped you?
Um, would have known before. Um, uh, to save more money
Right.
because it's going to be expensive. I wish that we had in schools. I wish we had, more education on like saving money and like doing our taxes and like how to budget and
Mhm.
stuff like that because I feel like I could have if I had finances behind me earlier in my career, I could have done so much more, you know?
Mhm.
If I had, maybe that education as well about that. Sorry, one second. My cat was in my light. He was sitting right in my light.
That's alright.
Uh, so yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think what else. Can you ask me that one more time again?
Yeah, so, what is one thing you wish you would have known before you began your music career that could have helped you?
Yeah.
Like, what you know today and all the experiences that you've gone through, if you can
Mm.
go back, what would you have changed that could have helped you propel more professionally or
Oh man. Um, Maybe just to be more, you know, like hardball, you know, like just be more up. It's hard when you go in, the studio with, it's always usually more, and we have more women in the industry now, which is great, more producers and
Mhm.
more. But going in, sometimes it's intimidating with men, and you're creating. And it's always been that kind of weird thing when you're going in to create, but you also want to talk about side and the split and all that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
um, I feel like now I definitely handle that a lot better. Whereas before, I think all of us have kind of gone through like, maybe you first because you want to make sure that you're taken seriously. but then
Right.
you have to, also it's a creative space, so that can kind of like mess with the creative side or like depending how people take things,
Mhm.
how they vibe. Um, so now I kind of approach it a little where, I will go in creatively, um, to vibe and then, when we get to that, if it's like, okay, now or want to move forward, then at that point I can say, okay, well, this is how I work, this is how I, what I charge, and we can negotiate, from there. Um,
Right.
so I think probably like the business side for sure. It's super important, of course, make sure you're covered, that way. So,
Mhm.
I mean, knowing the business and just knowing like about royalties and all that kind of stuff. I was always kind of studying it, but it was overwhelming to me and I was always doing so much like producing, directing, arranging my shows, you know, musically directing the band, the set list, doing everything, getting myself
Right.
together, prepared, rehearsing, all that kind of stuff. So, and then promoting, doing booking the gigs. So that side, I would have dove into maybe more
Mhm.
earlier, you know. It might have, kind of in certain scenarios helped out, to maybe salvage situations. I don't know.
Right.
But same time, if people aren't going to be professional and aren't down to respect an artist for their art and their craft in that way, then I'm kind of
Mhm.
like, oh, good, bye.
Sure.
you
And
know?
also too, I would imagine, I would imagine looking at it, uh, if I can put myself in the female shoes, in the male dominated industry where you walk
Yeah.
into basically a lot of small cramped areas and you're the only female, you have to get that feeling that, am I being looked at as a sex object? When you
Oh,
say,
yeah.
are you being taken seriously? You have all of these dynamics going on, and at the same
Oh,
time, you still have to deliver, you know, give it your best, and then to
yeah.
overcome that. And so it
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
like you was able to take all that and then become more of the boss, if you will, more in control, and more in charge of the situation instead of being devoured by the situation.
Oh, yeah, and let me tell you, I turned down so many opportunities to go to the studio that I wanted to with certain people because I knew what it was. I knew that
Hmm.
I would feel uncomfortable and feel like it was a party and
Hmm.
it wasn't really for the music or really for my voice.
Right.
Um, I knew that I would be vulnerable in a situation of that kind of nature. So I've just been like, I know myself so well
Hmm.
in LA by myself. I already had a few scenarios that I won't mention that were not good. And
Right.
that was in the first month of me being in LA. And I was like, oh, hell no, this ain't happening.
Hmm.
And actually, the Grammy nomination that I got with the project I did is for sheet music, The Diary of a Songwriter, which I was, featured in a book called Sheet Music, The Diary of a Songwriter. It was
Hmm.
all about all of us women speaking of our experiences in the industry and how we've overcome the male dominant abuse or the situations that we might have faced and how we're continuing successful and push through those type of things. And basically, we shared our stories, and then
Hmm.
we did a soundtrack, and then we got Grammy nominated for the soundtrack, which we also recorded in Henson Recording Studios in Hollywood,
Hmm.
Jim Henson Studios, and we actually had. Justin Timberlake was there, and Randy Jackson came through while we were doing the projects and the photo shoots and everything. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
And um, you I experienced that, and I shared that story, and that was just before the Me Too movement as well. So
Mhm.
it was really kind of, you know, amazing. Like I wish we kind of like would have been able to continue on and put I have definitely taken the long road, and I am very, very grateful and proud. I feel like God was like, "Don't worry about it. Just keep going, girl, and I'm
I
gonna
got
hook
you.
you up. And I'm
Yep.
gonna hook you up with better than you ever expected." I mean, I just was like I said, I never saw it coming. And it was very organic how Chucky and I did to work because we had connected through mutual, you know, friends in the business and
Mhm.
artists and stuff. And then communicating over, virtually, keeping in touch and talking about working 5 years. And 2 years before the pandemic, I was featuring at the NAM festival, the NAM conference in
Mhm.
Anaheim, and I was featuring at a booth by. And he was like, "Sarah Day," and I was like, "Chucky Booker," and I was like, "What?" And I was singing. So he got live, and we got to connect in person. And then it was like, "We gotta do that session. We gotta connect." Sure enough, I was like, "I got a car now to go. I will come wherever you are." And I basically, went to his spot in Huntington Beach, and we made it happen the next week. So, because I was out here in LA grinding without a car for years. I didn't have vehicle.
Mhm.
I actually didn't even have a I'm from Toronto. It's like being from New York, so you grew up and it's like, I'm a downtown girl, like, you jump in a taxi,
Right.
you know what I mean? I ride my bike, walk all over the city, so, that was a whole journey too, but yeah, and, so it's been very interesting, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
been quite a journey,
What
but,
I see yeah,
yeah,
what
God's
I
been
see
lining
coming
stuff
is,
up. I'm super excited. I have
mhm.
a very strong faith, which has gotten me through.
Yes. Yes, I can't wait to see the documentary. Uh, I'm sure that's coming.
That would be dope. That will be dope. I definitely have to write a book about my story, 'cause it really I'm
Mhm.
from the projects in the west side of Toronto. It's called, you know,
Right.
um, and the Doodat, the dance company was from Jane and Finch, which is basically like our Compton here,
Mhm.
you know,
Okay.
or South Central, basically. And, it know, I moved downtown when I was 16 on my own to pursue my dance career, and I've been pushing ever since,
Right.
to just follow my dreams, and thank God for my dad. I have an amazing father. I'm so grateful, and I also whenever I was, like, stuck and grinding and just was like, "Ooh, trying to pay that rent,"
Mhm.
I've been so blessed between my dad and just angels that have showed up in the dire all I know is my faith is so strong because God always provides,
That's awesome.
and I'm a witness.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
amen. What advice would you give someone trying to pursue a music career?
Um, I would definitely say just follow your heart, go for it. Favorite artists, um, find a mentor, find someone that can teach you, and just go for it. Just really focus on whatever art craft it is. Do your homework, and never give up. Just do it. That's
Nice.
my saying, just do it.
Nice.
I know it's
Just
cliche,
do it.
but
Yeah. And sure. Yeah. And you're absolutely a living example of that. You
I
just did it.
am. Yes.
16
And I'm actually
to
yeah, and I'm actually giving back, and I'm teaching at the Culver City Middle School
awesome.
education, and I'm also doing artist development with young artists coming up. So I wanna be a role model for those young artists and give them a chance to, and encourage them in terms of, their craft, like technique, finding their voice, style, all the above.
Mhm.
Everything that I've done on my website, sarahday.com, everything is designed by me, styled by me, makeup, everything. I've had to. So, I mean, I'm definitely looking forward to that team eventually, to have a great team. And I do have some, team players, including Mr. Bill Overton, who's a mentor to me and also looking out for me and some this a Motown project and
Mhm.
also a podcast opportunity that I'm manifesting with him. So yeah, I'm just, keeping great people around me, keeping focused, working hard, and trying to encourage the young people, you know?
That's nice giving back. There's nothing more rewarding than being a mentor, you know, um, out of 100, even if it's just one that get it, it's worth it,
Exactly.
right? That's awesome. Now
Exactly.
how long have you been teaching?
In this class I have right now, they're private classes,
Mhm.
and I've been teaching. God, I taught when I was in Asia. I taught a little bit back when I was in Canada as well. So I used to teach dance. I used to teach professional figure skating kids at the Granite Club
Mhm.
in Toronto, and also community centers, the YMCA. I used to teach gymnastics, dancing, and then singing as a performance. Has been, a passion of mine to give back when I can in between my career. I take on some, you know,
Nice. All right, so we are at what I consider to be my favorite question to ask. And that question is, what does success look like to you?
success is doing what I love, making a living, blessing others, inspiring the world, and just giving back. Do what you love and make a living, and also blessing others. That to
Mhm.
me is success, you know. And I truly believe that everybody's has a different, like, success is different for everyone.
Absolutely.
I've had a lot of
It's
people say, "Oh, you should be famous. Oh my God, how come
Yep,
you're not famous? How come you not be famous?" It's not about the fame. It's about, you know what? I'm on my journey, and I believe God brings us through our own journeys, life to learn different lessons. Sometimes it is to bless others too.
that's right.
But, you know, we have to be open to receiving, to giving, and to receiving, and to just work forward towards our truth, our own
Mhm.
truth. And if you can do that, you're successful. I mean, just loving what you do, growing, learning, constantly. That's the beautiful thing about arts. You're constantly learning. You never are going to know everything. And no matter what business, no matter what, lane you're in. But for me, I've already been successful traveling around the world, doing what I love, working with the best of the best. When
Mhm.
I look back and I actually try to put it on a resume, I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
sure, I want for financial success. That's always great too. But I think if you can, you know, to a very comfortable place where you can also give back, do what
Right.
you love, and travel the world, that's the best.
Right. You know, man, the reason why this is my favorite question is that, um, you know, I'm not putting people to the test because, again, success is subjective. And as a result of that, um, hey, whatever you want for success, then by all means go for it. But I love selflessness. And I say this in every episode, and I'm going to say it on this one too, because everybody isn't going to hear it every episode, right? But
Yeah.
we all need money in order to provide for ourselves and our families,
Yep.
right? But success, when you look at those selfless things like giving back, helping others, right?
Yes.
I look at the money side of it as to not so much for the things that I could acquire for me, but what could I do to help somebody, some cause? I would love to be in a position where, like what Shaq does, he was shopping for he I think he went to get a car, and he bumped into a family. He bought him a van, and he bought the dad a work truck, you know? And to
Amazing.
me to me, that is the equivalency of success and what to do with it, to become a good steward of what you've
Yes,
been bestowed and blessed with. And,
exactly.
yeah, and I just love it when I hear, like, your answer to that question. And again, I don't knock anybody who want 18 cars in their driveway and,
Right, right.
hey, if you can afford it, that's your money, you do whatever you want. But,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
just love it when I hear the heart part,
Yes.
that it's not about you, it's about what when you obtain it, what you can do with it for others, and I applaud you for that. And,
Thank you so and just healing
yes,
others, like music, just healing.
right.
We have some healing to do, and music is so healing. It's even proven. My niece is starting to do music therapy with elder,
Mhm,
and that is such a beautiful thing. Like, we kind of forget sometimes. I
mhm,
think people, especially like people get older and they forget about the music and the
mhm.
memories, the memories that they create. Sunny, my kitty sat right in my light again. And you know, that's what I want to do is I want to write songs to heal the world, people, when people come to my shows and they come up to me and thank you so much. You know,
Mhm,
I lost my father or whatever their scenario is, and they just come to me. I heard your voice from down the street and it changed my day and it made me, and I'm just like, yes, this is what I do it for. And I just want to give back to my father for all the love and support, for
mhm,
allowing me to learn, to grow in music, to be an artist.
mhm,
If I didn't have him to encourage me, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. And and then all my friends, my friend Greg, Mr. Greg Gale, got a shout out to Greg because ever since I came to LA, when I met him, he's been my road dog. He's like a big brother to me. And
mhm.
he used to take me to my gigs with my equipment when I didn't have a car. I
Right.
mean, it's been a road, and but you know what? It's every part of it's made me stronger. And I'm more ready now than ever,
Mhm,
for all of it that's coming, all the blessings coming. And then I want to just give back to my nieces. I've been working my whole adult life since I left. I left in 2006 from Canada to go over to Asia,
mhm,
toured 6 years, well, 5 years, then came to LA and did another year out there, came back, and I've been, sorting the visa thing in and out. But, you know, my nieces are like my heart, and they've gone through so much as well. And I really have always wanted to, you know, do my best to give back and just make their life more rich in any way that I can. So, family,
That's
that's
awesome.
that's the joy.
That's awesome. Now
Yeah.
I'm going to so part of my podcasts episodes, right? Um, you know, the goal is to have at least one special like surprise guest that um people don't know about. But then I decided that I'm not even going to tell the guest that they're my special episode. And so, Miss Sarah Day, you are my special surprise guest.
Oh,
And
amazing. Thank you.
yes, yes. And I don't want to tell you that up front, so everything could be all organic, right? And
Yes.
just get you on the tail end of that because this I, I think you being the 12th episode, really marks the other 11 that I did. And, you know, the majority of the artists were, kind of just getting out of the gate, right? And then I've had
Yeah.
producers, mixing engineers, a DJ, who's also a producer, him and his brother. And this is designed to be educational, right? And then, and how fitting that I have someone of your caliber, your experience, that when new artists listen to this podcast, they really get the back end story of what goes on behind the scenes and the grind that it takes and the relationships that it takes, that comes with the networking. And then still, from when you first met till years later, you're still in that same uh, kindred spirit with these people and going to barbecues, with Grammy winners, um,
Oh,
um,
yeah, and I didn't even tell y'all about
headliners.
yeah, and I didn't even tell y'all about, like, coming up here in LA with, like, Mars, you know, going to all the shows, having Thanksgiving
Hmm.
dinner at my house,
Hmm.
introducing him to the regiment horns who play for Kelly Clarkson, Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake, my boys,
Hmm.
from Berkeley, and then singing with Andra Day, opening up for Lenny Kravitz, which was such an amazing joy. And then
Hmm.
opening up in Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena with Kevin Eubanks from New York from the Tonight Show. I got to feature his band in front of 40,000 people for 2 years in a row in Vegas.
Hmm.
Right after J Lo did her tour, her "It's My Party" tour
Right.
was in the same stadium,
How about
and
that?
then I featured there after she did that with my boys playing in her band too, by the way. I know the drummer very well and a bunch of the different musicians in the background singers that sing for her. So
Hmm.
it's just like such a small scene and just watching everybody rise up, no pun intended, Andra
Right.
Day, rise up. Um, it's you just never know, and some of those relationships, because those people got huge, they blew up and, you know, never heard from them again. It's all right. You just keep on pushing and you keep, you're happy for them, you bless them, you're grateful. I know that I'll cross paths again and
Absolutely.
all will be good. All will be good because we've had great relationships. But and even actually in the show in Vegas that I did,
Hmm.
um for with Kevin Eubanks is with Microsoft, and Bruno Mars was also booked on that gig.
Hmm.
So we were on the same, you know, bill, but just different times and a different he ended up
Yes.
doing his at a different stadium. But so, like the circle gets smaller and the degrees of separation before, you know, that Grammy is in my hand.
Right. Right.
But,
And
I don't do it for all the, awards, but I mean, it's also it's nice when you do get those accolades too.
oh yeah, I mean, there's no question about that, and I just you know, the company that you've kept and the company that you keep, this is the staple that most indie artists would die to have had that experience to share their story, how, of course, in their own way and
Yeah,
things and how it happened for them. But um, that's part of that journey. You know,
yeah,
the end result, everybody want Grammys, you want to be in the main spotlight, but along the way, look at what you've developed and look at the relationships that you've built. And it's just no one can ever take that away from you. And then
exactly, for
and
sure.
now and then you're giving back, and so it's like full circle. And I can't wait to because the Grammy's coming. I can't wait to, the listeners go to your website and look at some of the YouTube videos, and because I did my homework, right? And
Yeah,
and I said, okay, here is my first surprise guest or special mystery guest or however I want to call it. I still haven't figured out how I want to label that, but
yeah,
but it's in the intro to my podcast when you go, to the main podcast page, as to one of the goals of the, of
how about a
each.
guest of the day, a Sarah
Yes.
Day?
All righty. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Sarah Day from Toronto, Canada. Give her a great big applause.
Thank
That's all for
you,
you. That's
thank
for
you.
you. Awesome. So I'm gonna tell you, like I tell everybody else, after that first Grammy or the 10th Grammy, you got to come back to the show so you can continue to give back and
Definitely,
and share your story, share your journey. That's what I think that's the biggest connectivity is, connecting with you, and therefore the music is automatic, right? But
yes.
the more that we can get the word out about your story, then I think the better off everybody else will be.
Yes, yes, and everything's under sarahday.com. All my
Hmm.
links to, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, I'm on all of it, LinkedIn. I try my best to keep in touch with people. It's so many platforms and messages. I do it all myself right now still,
Hmm. Hmm.
very organic. But I do get back as much as I can, and please follow me, everybody, and look forward to sharing more. New music is my best yet. I'm super excited to post it. But there are also the songs, from my background over the last 10 years on my website,
Hmm.
sarahday.com. If you just scroll down, you'll see the music player with all my music. And I do have the SoundCloud too. But like I said, everything's at sarahday.com, SARAHDAYE.com.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming on the show, and we'll see you next time.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thanks for having me. God
You're
bless.
welcome. God bless. Bye bye.